Caitlyn Clark is an underdog. Serena told Caitlyn Clark,
I just love that she tries to stay grounded, and she says she doesn't, what did she say? She doesn't have a social, she doesn't look at her social, and I get it. I don't either. And I think it's so important to continue to do what she's doing, and no matter what other people do, then if people are negative, it's because they can't do what you do.
Angel Reese's strategy of padding her stats has become concerning. She keeps increasing her numbers even in games that are already decided and out of reach.
this is Angel Reese. Watch this clip. She says the following. Go ahead and play it. She needs a lot of attention. Go ahead.
We watching women's basketball. It's not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
We don't get to say, well, Joe Rogan is #1 and we are important too, because of, that's not how podcast and competition works. You know who tells you you're good? The flipping market tells you're good. By the way, you know when's the last time I watched a WNBA game? Never. Till today. I've still not watched a WNBA game.
Her latest game against the Indiana Fever clearly shows this trend. Despite the Fever having a strong lead, Reese remained on the court, focused on boosting her double-double stats. With the Fever's key players on the sidelines, she made the most of the opportunity by scoring and grabbing rebounds against their substitutes.
Angel Reese is playing against Caitlyn Clark, okay? They have this big game going on. Neither one of them are the best teams in the league, but she gets fouled, Caitlyn Clark does, and this is how Angel Reese, who she became a champion, by the way, in college. I think she won the championship. Caitlyn Clark in the championship.
Exactly, 2 years ago.
However, for whatever reason, the audience likes watching Caitlyn more because she's more exciting than Angel. But watch what she says after the way she fouls Caitlyn Clark. Go ahead and play this clip.
For inside, I mean, I think we were playing really hard. I think we went up really strong a lot of times, and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle.
Reese ended the game with 10 points and 11 rebounds, but how she achieved those numbers has raised concerns among fans and analysts. Dwyane Wade openly called her out for padding her stats during meaningless moments of the game, angering those who viewed it as poor sportsmanship. His comments sparked a debate over whether Reese's double-double streak is truly legitimate. At the same time, Caitlyn Clark's outstanding performance, leading the Fever to a dominant win with 31 points and 12 assists, has been largely overshadowed by the controversy around Reese's tactics.
One thing Caitlyn Clark does maybe better than anybody in sports right now, makes it about others, makes it about team. Think about it. When's the last time you didn't see Caitlyn Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlyn Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never! Never! You never hear that. Now, that's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league right now.
Instead of focusing on Clark's accomplishments, much of the conversation has turned to Reese's questionable stat padding tactics. As the WNBA season progresses, it's uncertain whether Angel Reese will keep padding her stats in blowout losses, or if she'll take a more sportsmanlike approach and concentrate on helping her team get better.
Those Sky are falling off the map in the second half of the season. Why? Well, they got a star, right? Everybody tells me Angel Reese is an absolute star. Look at all the double-doubles. Oh, my God. Well, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky have made it about Angel Reese, not about the Chicago Sky. Even last night, if you look at it, what they have, Barbie night. We're giving out towels, blah, 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 blah. And when you see Angel Reese, what does she do? She's walking in with look at me outfits. It's about me. When you see Caitlyn Clark, what do you see? It's about we. Angel Reese is coming off. Hey, look, won the national championship 1 year, got to the Final Four. The next really successful career, but like most that come in the WNBA, nobody cared. So Angel Reese is coming in, and she's swimming upstream two ways. One, her team's not very good. Two, she's second fiddle to a little white girl over here, Caitlyn Clark. And that pisses her off. On the second half of the season and the second half of this game, the team that was more together, was clearly the Indiana Fever, and the Indiana Fever routed.
One thing is clear. Her actions have sparked a meaningful conversation about fairness and respect in professional basketball. You wouldn't see the Chicago Sky having Elena intentionally foul just to get more free throw points, or asking Tina Charles to do the same. And you certainly wouldn't find Teresa Weatherspoon leaving a player in just to pad their stats when the game is already decided. Honestly, it gives the Sky an unprofessional image.
I think there's some people, first of all, I think it's jealousy. I don't want to get in, there's a lot of articles out there that are using the R word and talking about this. I think it is pure, unadulterated jealousy. And the last clip from Angel Reese, they're watching me too. They're watching me too. It's like she's begging us to believe in her validation. Whereas the numbers, words talk, Angel, numbers scream, and the numbers are screaming that the fans are coming for her.
Consider the moment when Aaliyah Boston received a technical foul just before halftime. Heading into the third quarter, if you're the coach trying to win, who do you pick to shoot the free throws? Lindsay Allen? Rachel Banham? Wrong. Teresa Weatherspoon chooses Angel Reese, highlighting the team's lack of seriousness and damaging their credibility. It's no surprise Kalia Copper, Kennedy Carter, Marina Mabry, Dana Evans, and Camila Cardoso are eager to leave. Some players just want to play the game, not chase podcast fame, influencer deals, or acting roles.
Should there be a co-rookie of the year? Because Angel Reese is, of course, doing historical things with her double-doubles as a rookie, and Caitlyn Clark already has set 1 million records and looks completely unstoppable, especially when it comes to dishing. And it feels like we are both on the same page here. No.
Some athletes in the WNBA are there to excel in their game. Instead of refining her free throws, working on post moves, or improving her mid-range shot, Angel Reese seems more interested in starring in commercials. After watching most of the Chicago Sky games and every Indiana Fever matchup, it's clear that Reese's double-doubles aren't contributing much to the team's success or morale. The focus seems to be on ensuring she hits her stats, even if it hurts team chemistry. As Rachel Banham bluntly said in a post-game interview, "If getting blown out doesn't motivate you to improve, maybe it's time to take a hard look at ourselves." What should have been a night to celebrate Barbie turned into the Caitlyn Clark show, with even rival fans cheering her on in what should have been an unfriendly stadium.
Caitlyn Clark could be raising the tide and lifting all boats, and I think Angel Reese needs to take a pill because there is a great opportunity here, and I think jealousy is reigning supreme here.
With just under 4 minutes left on the clock, the crowd gave Caitlyn Clark a standing ovation as she exited the court, marking her third 30-point game of the season.
Nobody was talking about your league. Nobody cared about the WNBA until that girl, Caitlyn Clark, I don't care what color she is, she's ridiculous, she's nasty, and now people are watching, and you guys are talking shit about her? Like, what are you guys doing? They're sabotaging the whole thing. She should leave. She should have got those other contracts. Where does she have a contract to go somewhere else?
The Big Three.
She should have gone to the Big Three. To hell with the WNBA. They're nothing. They're nobody. No one's watching.
They lost $50 million. The WNBA lost $50 million. The only reason they make it is because the NBA kind of gives money to them to help them out. It's a lost cause every year. It's a political DI.
In what's supposed to be hostile territory, Caitlyn Clark received a hero's send-off. Is this really the opponent's arena? Walking around Chicago, I noticed more Caitlyn Clark jerseys than anything else. Her jersey is quickly becoming the WNBA's version of a Yankee hat. Everywhere you look, Fever fans are wearing Clark's name, from jerseys to t-shirts, giving the game the feel of an NCAA tournament.
She's asked about the foul. Look how different the response is.
About Angel Reese, what's going through your mind and how you just stay within yourself to finish the game?
What's going through my mind is I need to make these 2 free throws. That's all I'm thinking about. It's just a part of basketball. It is what it is. You know, try to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah, I mean, it happens. And those free throws, when you have to shoot them with nobody at the line, are kind of hard. So it's a little different than having people at the line. So I was just trying to focus on making those.
Technically, it was an away game for the Fever, but with all the support, it felt like they had home court advantage. The night couldn't have gone worse for the Sky. Clark stole the spotlight, the Fever got the win, and Reese padded her stats in meaningless minutes. To top it off, Caitlyn Clark was knocked down by Diamond D Shields in one of 2 flagrant fouls against her, adding even more drama to the game. Truly disappointing.
Straight white girl goes into a league filled with lesbian blacks and beats their asses.
Honestly, how can that even be considered part of the game? Nothing about it resembled a basketball play. Once again, it highlights just how poorly Teresa Weatherspoon is managing the team.
I think I don't think the WNBA is ready for this type of attention that she's bringing to them. That attitude. There was another player that was crying after a regular season game, and you said the R word, Tom. I don't know why you were blocking it, racism. Everybody's talking about.
It's important to acknowledge the dark history in America, where white women were often portrayed as needing protection from people of color, and the damage that mindset has caused. So, it's troubling, though not surprising, that harmful narratives about the WNBA might lead to more of these toxic attitudes. Since their games against the Sun and now the Fever, we've seen the Sky resort to dirty tactics, with repeated flagrant fouls from their players. The team is starting to look disorganized, with their star player avoiding post-game interviews to dodge tough questions. Kennedy Carter, for example, seems to lead by shoving Caitlyn Clark and essentially saying, "I'm not into this game, maybe tomorrow." So who's really in charge here? Carter, Reese, or is Teresa Weatherspoon still running the show? It's hard to tell at this point.
WNBA viewership, okay? Game. 7,300 in attendance, okay? The average Angel Reese game is 10,100, 10,200. They come to watch her. You know what the average attendance is when Caitlyn Clark plays home or the road?
What?
15,300.
Wow.
Okay? 15,300. Do you know what Caitlyn Clark just got the contract from Nike?
The Chicago Tribune and Chicago Sun-Times are making headlines with coverage of Diamond DeShield's body-checking Caitlyn Clark, which has everyone talking. The Sky aren't happy with all the attention it's getting. If this incident with the Chicago Sky is what's riling up their fans, they might have the most sensitive fan base in the country. Softer than even California's or LA media's fans.
It's not rookies of the year, it is the rookie who has had the biggest impact on their team, and it's unequivocally, and the odds are saying that it's even distancing itself even further, that it's Caitlyn Clark. She is leading in all of the statistical categories as a rookie, minus rebounds. Obviously, Angel Reese is averaging a double-double, but the impact on the team, we are talking again at nauseum about Caitlyn Clark leading as a rookie the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. They are ahead of the Chicago Sky. So I think, to me, if this is even reaching a conversation of splitting this, it might as well be, hey, you're a rookie, here's an award. You're also a rookie, here's just an award for being a rookie.
If this is what's upsetting you, you're definitely not ready for real sports coverage. Think about how the media treats athletes like A-Rod, Jeter, Aaron Boone, Jalen Hurts, or A.J. Brown. Remember how they pushed Andy Reid out? Come on, Chicago Sky fans. It's time to toughen up.
It's race baiting rhetoric that's adding fuel to a fire. It's like enough with the racist BS. She's nasty. She knows how to ball. Everybody else is jealous. They're pissed off because you're getting this, like, it's ridiculous. And we're never going to advance as a species, and we're never, if he keeps having that type of attitude. It's ridiculous. It's like, what? Everything has to go back to race. Everything has to keep going back to race. She's really good. Let it be that. Everything about her is white, and he's going on these anti-white race things about her and how black personalities would be more successful if they were white. It's unattractive. It's making this victimhood mentality.
Maybe if you focused more on winning games instead of padding stats, you'd actually see better results. Instead, you traded your best perimeter player, Kennedy Carter, and Dana Evans wanted out. All because of this obsession with meaningless double-doubles. Now, it seems like Tamika Catchings, Nalissa Smith, Aaliyah Boston, and Dawana Bonner decided, let's end this Rookie of the Year talk today. They locked down on defense, leaving no room for competition, and that's exactly what they did. Game over, settled, shipped off.
Talking about sort of what has been an undercurrent this whole entire year and calling out people for their perceived hate on Caitlyn Clark. And as someone that has already stepped into this space and was called numerous names on both sides of this argument, for people in the media, Caitlyn Clark has become such a lightning rod that in many ways, I'm going to liken it to sort of Voldemort and Harry Potter.
The Rookie of the Year race is all but over, and now people are wondering, has the stat padding been going on all season? The answer seems to be yes, with double-doubles piling up. Meanwhile, Clark is pulling ahead, and the gap widens with each game. We're not focused on individual awards. I know that's what people think, but it's not what drives us, Clark said before the game. Everyone's trying to make it about that, but we're fighting for playoff spots, and that's our priority. Winning basketball games is what matters, plain and simple. And the results prove it. Indiana has now won 3 straight games and 5 of their last 6. On Friday, the Fever had assists on 26 of their 32 field goals and committed only 11 turnovers, while Chicago could only manage 5 points off those turnovers. It's about time, honestly.
Why am I watching WNBA stats? Because I want to hate on the WNBA as much as possible because they're a zombie company that is losing money, which I'll touch on in a second. Here's the reality. Antonio Brown, friend of the show, he came out and said that the WNBA is...
I don't know if it's a friend. I think it's a parody what you're saying, but keep going.
He's been on the show.
Yeah.
Shout out to AB. He says that it's a charity case for lesbians. And the reality is the WNBA is hemorrhaging money. You just said $50 million this year. It's a zombie company. Name another company that just loses money, and we're like, yeah, let's keep talking about this company for the last 25 years.
Clark mentioned that building chemistry with teammates takes time. They need to understand you, and you need to understand them. She said, "I'll only get more comfortable the more I play." Chicago's problems aren't entirely on Reese, though. The Sky are missing offensive firepower, especially with Marina Mabrey, who was traded before the Olympic break, still being their second leading scorer. They've struggled to close out tight games, losing 6 by 4 points or less, including 3 during their recent slump. On Friday, Chicago had a 13-point lead in the first quarter, but ended up losing by 19. It took a 10-2 run in garbage time just to narrow the gap slightly.
I hate her because she's white, she's straight, and more importantly, she's better than everybody else. Period. End of story.
We're struggling to execute in crucial moments, and it's something we've got to fix, Reese said before the game. Nobody wants to keep losing. It's tough for everyone. Both Clark and Reese are poised for long, successful careers, but they'll always be compared to each other. Right now, Clark has the upper hand this season.
Well, this is expected of Caitlyn Clark. She's supposed to be great. She's not the Rookie of the Year. Angel Reese is, because that's a surprise, which to me is wrong because Angel Reese was the best player on the team that won a national championship in college. It's not like she came out of nowhere.
Angel and the Chicago Sky are gearing up to face Caitlyn Clark in their next game, ready to stir things up. On the other hand, Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever are riding a winning streak heading into the matchup.
What was ever going on in the league, I think it was just a new environment for her, and now she's figured it out, and that's what Caitlyn.
No, it's not about Caitlyn.
But I feel like she's playing, but I don't think the way people are playing her has changed. I think she has gotten better as the season went on.
Well, she was supposed to get better. No, I'm just talking about like even though like that hit.
You haven't even heard anybody talking about the over physicality and stuff anymore because she's giving that shit back now. She's figured it out.
Yeah, but like even like this, she gets hit and she walks. She don't make it a big deal because she's used to it now. But they're still gonna point it.
Apparently, all the accolades that Caitlyn Clark is receiving is because she's white, and the jealous players who are attacking her are really the real victims here.
Orianda Jacob, a well-known influencer and marketer, appeared on Jason Whitlock's podcast Fearless and made an interesting comparison between Caitlyn Clark, the rising star of women's basketball, and pop sensation Taylor Swift. Jacob admitted she would avoid crossing paths with Clark, fearing her passionate fan base, known as the Clark Seas. She stated, "Caitlyn Clark is the Taylor Swift of women's sports. We don't mess with Taylor Swift, and we don't mess with Caitlyn Clark, because the Swifties will come for you, and so will the Clark fans, or whatever you want to call them."
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlyn Clark thing up any worse if they tried.
Charles Barkley bashed WNBA players for the way they treat Caitlyn Clark, claiming they cannot have fucked this up any worse. When Caitlyn Clark signed up for the WNBA draft this season, little did she realize that the narratives throughout the season would not be based on her game. Instead, it would be about players both current and former divided when acknowledging her impact. But now, with the way she is playing with her Indiana Fever teammates, Charles Barkley has something to say to those naysayers. The NBA Hall of Famer was speaking on the Bill Simmons podcast. When talking about the narratives running around in the WNBA,
these ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlyn Clark thing up any worse if they tried. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. This girl is incredible. The number of attention, eyeballs. She's brought the college and the pros. And for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here? And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. But these ladies who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have this thing up any worse. There's been so much negativity, and a lot of it is just petty jealousness.
Barkley said Charles Barkley in particular was annoyed by the fact that the women he was referring to still haven't let go of their jealousy. Now it is showing up even more as the rookie keeps on racking up records. The Inside the NBA analyst was critical of this jealousy when such narratives flared up in the initial part of the season, but a lot of WNBA players spoke up and criticized Barkley for passing judgments without knowing the true picture. Now as the season draws to a close, the jealousy is even more apparent. Clark's impact is evident not only in the way she plays, but also in the attention she draws. Barkley feels the Olympic break helped her silence most of the haters, even though some remain. Continuing with their discussion, Barkley and Bill Simmons talked about how the rookie and the Indiana Fever have played better over the year. That's when the Hall of Famer brought up this point. I'll tell you what really good happened to her, not making the Olympic team. Giving her that time off has given her a chance to recharge her batteries. She probably deserved to make the Olympic team on merit, but her getting that time off probably was the best thing to happen to her. The round mound of rebound is happy that she did not go to Paris. Had Caitlyn Clark taken that flight, the narrative would have changed differently. He feels the time off from basketball is showing in the way they are playing right now. The Fever are playing with more energy and synergy than most other teams, even becoming giant killers in the process. Charles Barkley knows that this situation would not have developed if the Olympic experience fatigued her. The Indiana Fever have clinched a playoff spot with games in hand. That is a remarkable achievement considering they haven't made it in the past 7 seasons. This break has helped the team and Clark to cement herself as one of the best players. Clark has been on the receiving end of several questionable fouls this year, and the most notable came against the Chicago Sky.
And Caitlyn Clark and Diamond with 3 fouls against Caitlyn. And they're going to go and look at this one.
On Friday, Chicago Sky player Diamond DeShields sent Clark flying across the floor for a foul that was later upgraded to flagrant 1. After the game, DeShields posted a screenshot of her notifications list on Instagram, which included a string of hate comments from a user. Clark took an infamous illegal hip check from Chicago Sky forward Chennedy Carter on June 1st. Carter then refused to answer questions about the incident at the post-game press conference, but used her social media to repeatedly criticize Clark.
Kind of on the play before bumping in with Caitlyn, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit after the Fever
I ain't
score.
answering no Caitlyn Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything. That's enough.
Clark took another questionable hit to the head from Sky rookie and longtime college rival Angel Reese on June 16th.
3rd in the voting last season. Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over.
Now the official is pointing to his head here, and I think they're going to look at this.
You ain't got to tell me twice.
Yeah.
Shoot more?
Yeah. Do you agree that Caitlyn should shoot more?
Man, why not? We already know what she's like. Initially, she came into the league to me as a scorer. You average 30 points a game. Yeah, we know about your passing ability. But don't come in here to the WNBA trying to lead the league in assists when we know you led the nation in scoring, one of the best scorers in college basketball history, if not the best in women's basketball. So, yeah, my coach said that's what's got to happen. And I understand that she don't want to step on no toes. You're a rookie. You don't want to upset nobody. And, you know, you're trying to win over your teammates because you're getting so much so early of the recognition. I can feel that. But now that your coach said it, what can your teammates say now? Hey, it's time to start getting these shots up. Hey, y'all, my coach said, hey, not me. She said it. Like, so I agree with her. So let's not Let's not play around with that. You know, she needs to just be more aggressive. I mean, you averaged 30 last year. I mean, we know what she does. We know she can pass. We know she can score. But what she does best is put the ball in the basket. So hopefully this is a message that she will take and run with it now that it's – but maybe this is something that the coach should have said in practice a long time ago. You know, I think once the coach kind of verifies it, like Doc will go down the line and be like, look, guys, let's get him the ball. Like, and then once everybody heard that and saw that, there's nothing else nobody can say.
Or you could be like me and say, give me the damn ball.
All right.
Whichever one.
Once the coach verifies it, it shouldn't be nothing else to argue about. It should nothing else to feel bad about. If she starts taking 15 to 20 shots now, hey, listen, coach just verified you.
Sky coach Teresa Witherspoon even called out Clark publicly to the media, saying, "Nobody talks more crap than Caitlyn," to reporters on June 27th. ESPN women's basketball broadcaster Holly Rowe told Fox News Digital last month that the harsh physical reception by Clark is good for the WNBA because it's supposed to be salty. Barkley also called out WNBA personalities on television who have slandered Clark this year. Barkley did not cite anyone by name. However, his comments come amid a whirlwind of controversy currently surrounding WNBA Hall of Famer and current Dallas Wings broadcaster Sheryl Swoopes. Swoopes infamously made questionable statements about the length and statistics of Clark's college career during an appearance on Gil's Arena podcast in February. While discussing the topic of how Clark broke the NCAA's all-time basketball points record in her senior year in 2023, Swoopes suggested Clark played 5 college seasons and took over 40 shots per game. Swoopes was also criticized for a comment that included the phrase 25-year-old playing against 20-year-olds during a discussion about Clark's college success, but Swoopes did not directly implicate Clark being older than her listed age. Swoopes posted screenshots on X of alleged messages with Clark apologizing to the rookie for the false statements, and held an X Spaces on Tuesday to say that the statements were a result of confusion over the COVID-19 pandemic, lengthening the college careers of other athletes. Swoopes was recently absent from her broadcasting duties for Clark's game against the Wings on Sunday. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith said that Swoopes was removed from the broadcast due to her personal feelings toward Clark during a recent episode of The Stephen A. Smith Show. On Wednesday, the Fever will look to move up the playoff standings as they start a 6-game homestand with a game against the Los Angeles Sparks. Their season ends with the Washington Mystics on September 19. During Swoopes' absence from the broadcast booth on Sunday, Clark put up 28 points and 12 assists to lead Indiana to its 4th straight win and 6 in its last 7 games. Clark scored the 595th point of her career, surpassing WNBA legend Tamika Catchings for the most in a single season by a rookie in Fever history. She finished with 617 points as Sunday's game ended. Clark has seemed to break a landmark record in every game she has played in recently. In Friday's game against the Sky, Clark had the first 30-point, 12-assist game in WNBA history while becoming just the 5th player and first rookie to record at least 30 points and 10 assists in a game. On top of that, Clark now has 12 double-doubles, which breaks the WNBA record for most double-doubles by a guard in a single season. Just 3 days before that, Clark set the record for most made three-pointers by a rookie, surpassing the mark initially set by the Atlanta Dream's Rhyne Howard. She was 3 of 12 from downtown and finished with 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists as Indiana picked up its 15th win. That same night, she also became the first WNBA player to have at least 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in 6 consecutive WNBA games. It was her 10th straight game with at least 15 points and 5 rebounds, which put her in the elite club with Diana Taurasi as the players who have hit the mark.
Just obviously now you're used to all the hype and everything like that, but when you go to all these cities, you go to see stadiums, you see so many people wearing Clark jerseys or shirts and stuff. What's that feel like to you, and kind of just, how's that like?
I think a lot of these cities that we're still going to now is like kind of my second time, so I know what to expect, what the venue's like, but the crowds, like that's never something that gets old or something that you get used to. Like super fun for myself, and every place is still really different and unique in their own way. We're just in Minnesota and now we're here in Atlanta, and it's just is the arenas are different. You know, I felt like the last time we were here, there was like a lot of just basketball fans, a lot of people that really appreciated the game and understand the game and wanted to support the game of basketball, especially women's basketball. So I expect the same. And for myself, like it's really fun getting to see young kids in your jersey or whoever it is, and you're trying to take some time to interact with them.
Go first row right here.
Caitlyn, you've hit some recent milestones, and you ended the night with 81 and made three-pointers, which trails the Dream's Ryan Howard, who had 85 in 2022 for most made three-pointers by a rookie. What's your perspective when you hit these milestones and that you could hit another one here tonight in Atlanta against the Dream, against Ryan Howard?
Yeah, I mean, usually not something you're really aware of until it happens, I guess. And obviously Ryan had a really good rookie season, and she was somebody I played with when I was in high school, and she was in college on Team USA on our U19 team. So, you know, I know her pretty well and how talented she is. So it's definitely really cool. But I think it just comes with playing the game the right way. You know, especially playing offense the right way. I think our offense has continued to start to flow a little bit more, has opened up some looks for myself along with my teammates. So just continuing to do that, I think is going to be really important for this group.
Caitlyn, Coach Size has done a lot to bring the team together. Like I've seen you play baseball and all kind of different initiatives to kind of bring the team together. Have you seen those things translate on the court?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to really translate anything skill-wise, but I think having good relationships with your teammates is super important. I think sometimes that can be hard to do at the pro level. You know, something that's very kind of easy in college. That's who you're kind of stuck with for 4 years. Obviously things are a little different now with the transfer portal, but I think in the pro level, you don't always have one time to build those relationships. Like you're professionals, you're trying to go about your business and do all the right things. And I think it was a good break for us, obviously the Olympic break, having that time where we had most of our team together and being able to do some fun stuff away from basketball where the environment's loose and it's fun and you kind of get to know your teammates better and their personalities. And, you know, I think maybe it doesn't really need to be on a deep level, but those fun, you know, whether it's, you know, playing baseball or putt-putt or whatever it is, those are fun activities that you get to share with your teammates and be competitive, and I think it definitely helps grow relationships from that standpoint.
Hey Caitlyn, you all haven't played the Dream since late June. What are some of the things that have been different that you've seen from the Dream since that last time?
Yeah, well, I think both teams are very different in the ways that they play. Obviously, the injuries that they had, you know, I think they're starting 2 or 3 different people differently than when we played them in June. So you can go back and watch that film and watch some of what they did, but you know, you try to watch more recently of what they've done. They're really good in transition. They have really good, you know, ISO players that are really good one-on-one, so you're gonna have to be able to guard your man. But I think our team defense is gonna be very important. I think we're a step behind versus Minnesota, and that's not something we can do tonight. Is like we really got to pull over in rotations and be there for our teammates because they have some very talented players on this team. But I think they're running some different sets as well too on the offensive end, and being much more intentional in that action. So just preparing for that too.
Caitlyn, how do you describe where you are now as opposed to the start of your rookie season? You've had the break, you've had a couple of wins now after the break. How do you feel now as far as the mental and the physical aspects of getting the leadership and your legs and your mind together for this second half run?
I'm just trying to take it game by game. Well, I feel the best I've probably felt all year long from a comfortability standpoint, but also from, you know, just how my body feels and understanding the game and everything like that. I still feel like I'm learning every single day, and I still feel like there's just so many areas for me to continue to improve. And I think that's the most exciting part for myself, and I think also for our team. You still find areas where we kind of have a lapse, and that was the case versus Minnesota, where I think Christy broke it down, and in about like 6 minutes of gameplay, we gave up like 30-some points. So it's like those little margins, you can't make those mistakes versus these teams. It really costs you. You can maybe give it up one time where they go on a little run, but you can't give up 2 or 3 runs. It's really hard to recover from that. So I think just continuing to push myself and be a good leader and find my voice too. Obviously that can be hard at times as a rookie and as a point guard, but that's something that's going to be very important for this team down the stretch. And, you know, every single game is going to be very important for us. And, you know, obviously this one's especially important.
Good. Last one on Zoom. Matt, want to go ahead?
Okay, well, just to kind of follow up on the end of your last response, you know, the Dream are only 2.5 games out behind you guys, so tonight's going to be important for playoff positioning. Has that been a message that you and your teammates have been kind of internalizing in the lead up to tonight?
You know, I don't think it's not a conversation that we've honestly had. I think everybody's aware. It doesn't really need to be spoken. If you know, are following the league, it's very evident of, you know, what it is, and obviously the playoffs are where we want to be, and we know how close that race is going to be. So every single game is important, no matter who you're playing, whether people are, have already clinched their playoff spot, whether they might not even make the playoffs. Every single game is going to be important for us down the stretch, and I think every person in our locker room knows that. But I think we're just trying to go one game at a time. Even if you lose this game, not all is lost. Obviously, we come into every game with the mentality to win, but this is a very tough league. We understand that and we know that, and I feel like we're playing good basketball right now, so just continuing to try to carry that through this.